Doesn't that feel like such a sitcom?
Yeah, like, welcome to Oak's Garage Cribs.
You want to put like the fake like clapping on and everything? Like,
show us where the magic happens.
Come on in. In the last video you guys saw, we got more shop equipment. We got the second storage lift in. It looks incredible. We got the entire machine. It's awesome. But this weekend I put some extra work in and got some more things done to have a really good finalization of things. So come check this out. First thing you might notice is I finally had time to go through the full tire wall.
It's so clean.
It's so good. Like before, there was just so much random stuff on it. There was wheels all over the ground. So I took everything down and I properly broke in the new tire machine and I took off. I did like 20 something tires this weekend, kicked my butt, but cleaned it all out, got rid of all the useless tires, got everything organized. And this is finally feeling like gone through. Finally, this was the last piece really. And then on top of that, you guys might notice, we put the shelves in. Now I was talking a bunch about putting shelves there, and well, I made it happen. And as you guys can see, I put a board behind it because I didn't want things to fall behind the shelf and land on the cars. So I put like the little decorative board. It's a little cheesy, but I like it.
I think it looks good.
It looks good, right?
It also separates like this side of the garage versus like the storage side.
Dude, it's sick. Like it feels like it just has like workspaces now, and I absolutely love it. And surprisingly, it doesn't feel like it shrunk the space at all.
No, the space feels massive.
It's awesome. Plenty of space for the tire machine. Now I still gotta trim it and everything, but I did that last night. I was tired. And this will be the shelf that finally lets us get all the random stuff off the ground, like all the track day stuff, the shop vac.
Now the shop feels like finalized.
Finalized. Obviously, we still got a lot of tidying up to do now that everything is in place, but big moves to be made. And on top of that, you guys might notice there's some cars back that you haven't seen in a long time. We got the blue S15 back, and of course, my pride and joy, my yellow FD. She's so beautiful. It's kind of nice to be able to walk in and see it again. These two cars have been at my house for quite a bit now. I took them out of here, just get them out of the way, get them out of the way of getting bumped into, things moving around. We have a lot of stuff here. We are finally getting to redoing my home garage. As you guys saw in previous videos, it's a little dingy, right? It's old. House was built in the 70s, the garage hasn't been really touched since. Since we're starting the project, we had to get the thing cleared out. So this weekend I did one of the most dreaded things ever, and that was go up top and find all the stuff that has been sitting up there for the last 40 years. And so I got it all out from up top on the rafters. I got all cleaned up. I did a bunch of dump runs, and the garage is officially ready to go. All right, after all our hard work, it's pretty much good to go. There's still a couple oddball things here and there, but overall it is emptied out. There was so much stuff up top for many, many years. So seeing it open like this is so wild. It makes it feel so massive in here. It honestly feels so good because it just is such a blank slate now. All the walls are exposed, just besides that. The back wall, everything's ready for electrical, and then sheetrock, and then paint, and then boom, garage. It's as easy as that. Now, there's a lot of work to it, but all right, step one, complete. The garage is finally getting a proper refresh, and I got a lot of posts on DM asking if I'm gonna film it. Now, the first couple stages, like the electrical and some of the main bits, I'm just gonna have a contractor do it since we don't really have enough time to actually get that done ourselves. So I will be giving you guys updates on that as progress is made, and then the fun stuff, the finalization, the paint, the cabinets, the styling bits, the getting everything set up, the flooring, we'll film that, and I think we'll have a good time doing it. Like the home garage transformations, you can't beat it. Honestly, I'm so freaking excited for it. So we spent the last couple months doing a lot of garage mods, which has been nice because it's the beginning of the year and we want to start the year fresh, but we got to get back into the bread and butter, and that's building cars. So Austin's car has been a great side project. We have transformed the stock FRS into, well, a really awesome car, and the last thing we have to do is a couple small bits, but the big thing is we got to test it. This week we're not going to be testing it because we finally have our opportunity to do a full engine build. So the next couple videos will be us doing a full engine build in detail on the channel, which I'm super excited about. I think it's gonna be really cool, and it's a lot of things that a lot of people don't get to see because most of the time it's like, okay, I got my short block built, let's get it together.
Send it off.
Send it off. We're gonna go through the whole thing and we're gonna see the whole process, and I'm pumped on that. So next week we'll be testing Austin's car. Weather should be a little bit better.
That's so exciting. It's actually gonna be a little bit warmer.
Finally.
Woo, the season's coming. I love it.
So sick of the 25-degree Fahrenheit weather we've been having. Over it. Next week should be good. We should be able to finally test this thing. Now the big thing, as you guys know, is the Pro car that has been getting done casually in the background. You know, the hard part with the Pro cars, there's no fast way to do it. There's no cheap way to do it, and the views aren't really that good, which is, I totally get. And so Spoon has been busting butt in the background, making this all happen. And the one thing we haven't shown you guys is the exhaust. So Spoon finished the full hot side on the car. Of course, utilizing stainless bros products, our favorite fabrication needs. Spoon loves welding on the stainless bros products, It's a no prep product. You cut, you fit, you wipe it, you go, you weld. And it came out absolutely beautiful. Look at the wastegate dumps right here.
So freaking gangster.
Absolutely killed it. The little bracket, the tied together, the dual gates. Like, I cannot wait to hear this thing off the limiter. Of course, we did a 4-inch downpipe and stepped it right back down to a 3.5, and Spoon did his thing and crammed a 3.5-inch exhaust beautifully under this car. In pro car fashion, we had to do the turn down, make sure this thing made some noise so we could hear this car with other competitors. We have this beautiful tip right here, right behind the axle, per FD spec rules. Nice and simple, nice and easy, and of course, a beautiful product. We're getting there. Now, the last things we need is I gotta order the axles. I've been putting that off because they're expensive. We don't need them right now. But the big thing is the wiring. So we're still waiting on the electronics. And then once electronics are all mounted, we can measure for the harness, the chassis harness, which will get done pretty quickly. Engine harness is currently getting built. We'll slap it all in and we'll be able to hear this thing run for the very first time. So we're close. We're far away, but we're close. And I'm trying not to let it stress us out, just trying to organically let it come together. I always told myself with the pro car stuff, if it's gonna stress me out, I don't want to do it because I don't want to rob myself of fun by trying to be a competitive drifter. I've seen too many guys go through the process where they burn themselves out on time, money, and effort, and they end up hating the sport or just getting out of it for too long, and I want to be able to organically do it on my own time period. We're getting there, boys. We're getting there. That being said, we need a main guiding project on the channel because everything's kind of getting wrapped up, right? The pro car will come when it comes, your car's just about there, and everything else, well, they're all there. They're all good. They're all set. I mean, obviously, every car always needs little things here and there, but in terms of main projects for the channel, we got to move on. I've been losing my mind the last few months trying to figure out what I want to build next. What is exciting to me, what is exciting to you guys, what will push the envelope a little bit for us, what is basically the car I want to finish off in the summer and enjoy. And I was like, oh man, do I buy this? Do I build this? Do I this? We had many, how many times have we talked about this?
We talk about it almost every day.
Almost every day. I've been losing my mind, and I was like, you know what? Kind of sick of buying cars right now. And there is this project that we've been putting off for a very long time, and I think we're finally in an opportunity where it aligns perfectly, and that is my 911 SC. Now, we started this project a year ago. We worked on it for like a month, and then I put it in the back burner because we had too much going on. I said, you know what? Let's not touch this until we're in a good opportunity to do so, and I think we are there now. So if you guys don't remember this car, this is my 1978 911 SC, all right? It's an air-cooled Porsche. I love this thing, but as you can tell, it's quite the project. It is stripped down bare. If you guys remember this car, we picked it up, it had a small block Chevy in it. I mean, check this out. Yeah, it was atrocious. Really bad. I get it. You know, the swap was done in the 90s, and in the 90s, that was the LS swap. That was cool. But we decided to change it up, and I didn't want to put an air-cooled motor back in it. I wanted to do something different, and, well, we fitted in a Maserati. Oh! It's been a while. Fitted in a Maserati Quattroporte engine. How sick is this? Now, we proposed originally doing a Turbo K series in this for many, many reasons, and you guys were super against it, right? And I get it. We've done a lot of K series stuff. You want to see us do something different, and so I did a lot of research and figured out this is the engine I wanted to do. What I think happens, I think a lot of guys thought that since I changed direction of the K series, I no longer was super into the project. That's why I put it off to the side. I want to reiterate to you guys that I am hyped on this. I think this is so freaking cool. I'm actually kind of grateful that you guys pushed me in this direction because though the K series would have been a lot easier, this is badass. And we were super tempted to do a Volkswagen engine, but we had some complications with that also pushed me away from that, which we could talk about later on, but boom. She's bolted to the transmission. She's got a 996 transmission. I made this custom cradle for it, so it's all bolted into the chassis. Very proud of myself on that one. And well, now it's time to get this thing to work in the car. The only downfall to this is obviously we have to basically restore a car. And
it's a lot of freaking work.
It's a lot of freaking work, but honestly, I'm so freaking excited for this car that I want to get back to it and now is the right time of year for it. We'll have our main build, and then we'll do all little side quests here and there to fill it all in. You guys know the recipe. So we gotta get this thing back out today and get back to work. We gotta kind of turn our brains back on, start putting together a game plan, because the hard part for us is not only do we have to figure out a swap, but we have to figure out a way to capture it in a way that's interesting to watch. So a lot of times a car like this, you just start doing things all over the place and stuff comes together. For us, we kind of have to put together paths, and it makes things a little more complicated, but I'm here for it, and this is what we do. Today is getting this thing on the lift, checking it out, hopefully making some more progress, and putting together a big parts list so while we're getting the engine built the next couple days, stuff could show up and we can get right to work. It feels like it's been a long time. So much work ahead of us on this car. But honestly, dude, like I have been so fixated on like old 911 race cars that it's just gotten me so excited for this car. Like my first thought was like, oh, this clean, air-cooled looking 911 street car thing. And I'm like, dude, I got enough of those things. Like I want to make this car look like a race car and feel like a race car. And that's the goal. Like, even if that means making a little more crude than usual. Pull up these photos, I'll post them on the screen, just like old 80s built, 90s built Porsches, and it's just, dude, something about it is just,
they're raw.
They're raw. It's a vibe. Like an outlaw Porsche is so freaking cool, and that's what I'm stoked on. Like I want to see lines, I want to see AN lines, I want to see brackets, I want to see like, I don't want to hide to tuck it and make it look all clean. I want it to be a little intrusive, a little tacky, but to be cool. That's the goal. Like, I don't need this thing to be every seam look perfect. I want it to just be just good energy, you know? I just want to enjoy this one, purely. All right, so the big question is, where do we even begin? You know, we did Austin's price breakdown video on his FRS, and we put together a nice little, I guess, schedule that we like to do to make it kind of be organic. This thing, we can't follow that, unfortunately, but it's fun. It's refreshing for us. It's a little bit different. So realistically, I want to kind of break it up into sections. I really love to kind of see this as the engine compartment, and then the front be the, you know, fuel cell and radiator department, and the inside be its own department. So if I could break everything into departments, it'll make it feel a little less overwhelming. So really what I want to do is start building all the systems inside the car now while it's all ratty and ugly and dirty. Right, if we can get everything built and fitted and make sure it all aligns together, then we can take it all apart, make it all pretty, and then reassemble it, and she's ready to go. That's always been the traditional way of building cars, because a lot of time you don't know where it's gonna land. For these cars where we know where things are gonna land, where we're gonna cut for piping and stuff, we can kind of make those provisions and then instantly paint the bay, but not this time around. So what I wanna do is start banging some stuff off the list. So the first thing is we gotta start running lines inside the car. Now, luckily this isn't turboed, so we have a little bit less stuff to do, but the downfall of it is we have a big engine in a little car. So we gotta fit a lot of stuff, and we gotta account for a lot of systems that are gonna be added into the future also. We gotta be looking ahead constantly, because we don't wanna make a system that fits now and then have it intrude later on. What I wanna do first is the dry sump lines. If you guys notice, this is a factory dry sump engine, which means there's no oil pan. There's no pan on the engine that holds the oil, that has a pickup tube in it that sucks up into the engine, and boom. This has an oil pump mounted on the side, chain driven, that pulls the oil out of an external tank. So luckily Porsches are dry sump. We have a spot for a dry sump tank. This one was killing me because I was trying to figure out where to shove one, because dry sump tanks are really large. And I was going back and forth about shoving it in the front, trying to find something that fits up top, but then I realized I think we can get away with a stock tank. It holds quite a bit of oil. It's mounted in a really nice spot. I mean, this is an OEM, it literally just bolted in. Factory, we have the oil return, which is up here. Factory line, that's just kind of cut out of the way. So we'll tie into this most likely, because it goes underneath the intake manifold. And then we have the oil feed, which is back here on the pump itself, which we have the OEM fitting on the grounds. For this, we have the feed right here. But the problem is we have a return right here, but this utilizes an oil filter. Where on this, the oil filter is built into the pump. So it might get a little bit confusing, but what that means is we actually have to get rid of the oil filter that's in the bay from factory, since when the Porsche engines, the filter is utilized in the container versus the engine itself. because we need to get our return back in here at a higher point. So I think we might start off with actually modifying the tank first. I mean, the upper line, I'm not too stressed about, because if we can, I'd love to just basically plate that and now replace that. Kind of just like this, and that will give us enough room to get an AN line somewhere. Everything's so damn tight in this thing. Now an aftermarket dry sump tank would be sick, but trying to cram that thing anywhere else in the car would be a total nightmare. So I'm gonna try my best to utilize this. See, it might not look that big, but if you think about this being the size of an oil pan, it's quite a bit of oil. Well, we need to figure out how this thing works before we start cutting it apart. So I think is that the tube right there? There's a strainer in there. See that barrel right there? It's the level sensor. So this goes up, feeds this outside ring to go through the filter, and then kicks this right back into the tank. Now we don't need that secondary filter. I mean, technically we could probably like go through it and stuff, but that's half-assed. We want to keep the line up high, so we're gonna have to gut this thing out, get rid of the tube that connects these, seal this up, and then we have a feed and a return. Let's cut up some factory Porsche parts. So we're gonna make progress, or did I just completely ruin a good oil tank? We're gonna find out. Let's have one spot weld on the inside that you could like feel it. Come on, come out. Heart surgeon Jim over here, you know? Oh, there. Nice. Nice. She's cut the shreds, but it's what we need right now, right? What we have is we have our feed, which will go here. Then we have our return, which will go here once we cap that. We just have a lot of cleaning to do. There is a lot of metal in this thing, and it's the worst place for metal to be. Right now, the way we have it, it's literally just a giant container with holes in it. But that's all we need. And making this tank from scratch, is it possible? Yeah. Is it more time effective? I think so. All right, we got her cleaned up. We're gonna have to clean her a couple times, so just keep that in mind. But it's time to make our delete plates so we can get this thing sealed up and convert it to what we need it to be converted to. So we don't need to make this, it's not a body panel, so we don't need to like put it in and make it perfect. We could literally make a panel that goes right on top, just like that. And then now we'll have a spot to then put our return. And fitting, delete plate, a little egg, and delete plate right there.
Hell yeah.
Dude, reduce, reuse, recycle. I'm being, you know, economically friendly by utilizing this. I can hear the old oil in there just like bubbling off. This thing is 40 years old. It had oil sitting in it its whole life. I'm impressed it's actually welding as good as it is.
It's not bad. Oil normally seeps into the metal.
It's crazy how old this car is. It's a 1978. Like, sorry if you were born in 78 or older.
You're calling everyone out.
Well, I'm just saying, like, the oldest car I owned forever was like a 1990, and then I got the 86, and I was like, oh god. And the FC and stuff, I was like, those are 80s cars. That's crazy. And then now this is a 70s car. I think that's as far as I go. I don't know if I'll go beyond that.
What is 70? 30 years ago? 1970 was like 30 years ago, something like that?
It feels like it. It feels like it. And then we got the big plate right here. All right, so we're almost done with it, but what I want to do is mock this thing up. And then we have to pick where we want the upper AN fitting to go. Just like this. What do you think? Probably dead center would just look nice versus trying to offset it. Keep it lower. Maybe slightly lower.
Not your call, buckaroo.
Yes, I'll do slightly lower so it is lower than the... Yeah, let's do that. Real precise. Oh God, you ever drop a guitar pick inside a guitar? It's the same thing. We got some pretty welds on here, and she is complete. Obviously, we gotta make it all pretty and everything. Like we said before, everything's rough mock. Make sure everything fits, make sure everything works. And honestly, having a modified OEM piece almost kind of looks cooler to me. Like we're talking about the vibe of this build versus just having like this aftermarket like sheet metal thing. It goes in easy with that hand fitting in the way now.
Oh, cake.
Take this. So all I have to do is connect this to this pipe, which means we have to take this pipe off and weld the fitting to it, which means the intake has to come off.
Oh, yeah, I'll do it, whatever. I'll do it, that's fine. I'll do it right now. You want me to do it? I'll do it.
All right, now this is the hard line. This is the tricky one. This one is what I want to figure out first so I can stop stressing. The upper line route's really nice, just in back out of the way. Now this one is the one that we're worried about the exhaust because we don't really know where it's gonna go yet. We don't know if it's gonna go under here and then up, or if it's gonna go up here and then down. So I'm tempted to make that line later, but I want to get this. I want to feel like I did something. I mean, this modification alone is huge, but it's either we come down and follow this and then go back, come forward and either go down or we go up.
So point being, either way, we're gonna them, right? That's what you said? You did say that.
I can't put that in.
You know what I say? It feels like a sitcom. That's
Yeah,
Carter.
That's Carter.
That's Carter. I'm thinking for now we just don't produce this line, but I know I want to route it this way. I want to route it through here and under the engine instead of going in front of it. It'll actually give us a really nice place to come out of.
I'm not allowed to speak anymore.
We can just fall underneath here. It'll be above our brace, which we'll have covered. Follow the path. We have the OEM pipe right here, which is nice because it does kick it forward enough that like if we wanted to go in front of it, we could, which is pretty cool. So look at that, like this carries it really nice and brings it here. But I'm trying to avoid having as much in front of the engine as possible, so.
What is your reasoning?
Exhaust will be here.
Okay.
Things are hot.
Yeah.
Moving things in the front. We have hot things and moving things. Two things to avoid. So if we can keep it out of the way over here, we should be good. So I'm gonna make the call. Let's cut it. All right, it's tight, but it's good. I'll take it, and the line will just go real tight there. This is the at-home garage lathe. When Johnny's not around to use his lathe, it works. Now, she fits. Look how cool this looks, dude. Even the inside of the AN like lines up perfectly with the OEM fitting. That's so sick. So it's a little tight, so we might have to put the AN fitting on first and then put this on, but I'm hoping we can put it on after. It's nice though that it is factory O-rings, so you don't have to worry about RTV and gaskets and stuff. Slip on, we'll slip on. Oh, that's so good. Just like that. So this line I'm a little hesitant to make right now because I don't want to waste the line, but it should route something like this. So we could either go above or under on this. It all depends on the exhaust. We could always kick it down with a 30 degree or kick it up slightly. That won't really cause any issues. But I think we're better off holding off on this, and then we can make mounting tabs on the frame. It's good. But the hard part's done. All the customization, whatever, making an AN line, 5 minutes. And then this one should be nice and easy. We'll kick it back. We'll follow the factory trunk line here, just like this. Then we'll connect it up into here. But unfortunately, we ran out of time today. We only have one day to film videos on Monday, so it's always a little bit of a race. But I got to pull the intake off, which I am hoping I could do in the car.
I don't know if you maybe.
The back is tight, but this is like a little heat shield I can like rip off, and we should gain another like ½ inch. But as long as it's not I don't think it's studded. I think it's just all bolts. It should just be able to kind of like slip forward. and then we could weld a fitting to here, and then we're good. The upper line we can make, but I'll tell you what, the hard part is done. Converting the oil tank to work for us was huge. We did some deleting, we added some and fittings, bolts in the factory location. It's nice and clean. We have a nice oil fill right here, just like OEM. Easy does it. The bottom's all sorted. We're gonna hold off on that one line until the exhaust is figured out, just because it's easy to modify from there. I'm not really worried if it's kind of close to the exhaust, because heat management, we have exhaust wrap and we have and line wrap. I'm not stressed about it at all. Let me know in the comments if you think I could pull this off in the car or not, because right now it is like,
I'm gonna take my bet and I'm gonna say you can.
I think I can, dude. I think it's not gonna be too bad, because I think it's just the rail, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4. The back Allen key might suck, but
does it come in half? Like, does it
I
split?
think this is like a cover. The brake can be sad. It might like be glued on too. Rails probably hold on. I don't know. I'm still, we were talking about doing ITBs on this thing, which would be really cool, but I'm scared like that I'll lose like the sick vibe of it.
Yeah, because this intake manifold is so good looking.
It's so pretty, the symmetry of it. If you guys remember, because I should have talked about this early on, but I did so much yapping. This is my fake Ferrari engine, right? So this is a 4.2 liter Quattroporte Maserati engine, but it shares the same skeleton as a Ferrari engine, a Ferrari California, a Ferrari thing.
F340 or something?
There's it's F with some numbers in front of it. I don't know, but they came in a lot of different cars. So the Ferrari version externally looks almost identical. They have different intake manifolds, they have different exhaust manifolds, and internally they're different. One's a flat plane crank, one's a cross plane crank. Obviously, I'm assuming the heads have probably different cams and everything in them, but I could bolt a Ferrari intake on here, which would be sick. Like, you've seen Turk's FRS with the Ferrari engine in it, right?
Yeah.
That engine will bolt on here. So if I wanted to suck it up and pay $4 grand for an intake, we could have that crazy dual intake, but it would stick out to here. If someone's uncle has that intake laying around in the garage, I'll cut the car up to put it in here. Making any bit of progress right now is huge, because this is not an easy swap, and it's a very rewarding feeling. And so stage 1, we're getting there. Time to order up a bunch of parts. Time to go up to Tommy's and build that SR engine. Super excited to do that, but they'll give me a few days to order up some parts and start making some more progress on the thing. But for now, super pumped. This was really cool. And, well, you guys know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content. We'll see you guys very shortly.
It's sad because I